Time for the auction. First item on the list, 2J01. This one is a heat treat Texas chert. Not very translucent. This one is a little over 4.5 inches by, let's see, 1 7/16 by about 1/4 inch. Okay, I think it's called a motley, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Anyway, this heat treat was really, really nice. Although there were a couple areas that I had trouble with. I think there was a spot right there, and I think it was a spot on the base. Anyway, for the most part, it was really nice. Okay. Next, I've got items that were done on video. 2J02. These two items are done on video. Excuse me. They were done in a video series this week. Right, this is the only series I posted this week, I suppose, yeah. Anyway, this is a chert from Ohio. Not easily worked. It has crumbly areas and various consistencies, but it can produce a fairly good edge to be used as a projectile point. This one here is Texas root beer chert. It's got some inclusions in it. It's translucent, very nice material. A little bit difficult to clean off all the step fractures, but this kind of material can be thinned down very thin. It's got a lot of strength to it. So as far as raw material goes, this is one of the highest grades if you can get rid of all the little fingernail step fractures. It looks a lot better. The real ones had a lot of these step fractures in them of this material. Anyway, I don't know what to call this. It can be modified after you get it, of course. All right. 2J03. This is a Pedernalis type with an exaggerated needle tip. This tip is a little bit wonky because I had some step fractures at the tip. But a lot of these are kind of wonky anyway. I also had a little error here as I was removing this thinning flake, but I left it in because I wanted to preserve the width on this one. It's pretty thin. Let's see, 4 inches almost exactly by 2 1/8. And it's a little under 1/4. It's exactly 1/4 inch at the fattest spot, but at the widest spot it's like 3/16. Yeah. So down here where it's the widest, it's like 3/16, but up here it's 1/4 inch thick. All right. Anyway, this little flute or thinning flake went fine, but this one didn't go anywhere. I usually try to get 2 nice thinning flakes, but oh well. Yeah, Pedernalis type, made from a chert that seemed very similar to Georgetown, or the Cortex on Georgetown. It's kind of a light gray. It looks almost white here in this light, but I think it's a light gray. Okay, all right. 2J04. This is Ocala chert heat treat, translucent. This is a Bolin type. The pictures I was looking at on the internet, had lots of variations in the notches. I just put in the notches that seemed to work on the fly. Sometimes the stem on the inside expands out, so the top of the notch creates a more narrowness than the bottom, and sometimes it's the other way around, where the top notch or the top indentations are not as deep as the bottom ones, and it's kind of a contracting within that little neck area. Anyway, and the bases are different here. Some of them are more rounded than others. Anyway, I just tried to go with the flow on this one. I wanted to make a local point made from this type of chert. One that a bowline might be made from this type of chert in the past. That's what I wanted to achieve. Anyway, I don't know if they were heat treated. A little over 3 3/8 by 1 5/8. No, 1 3/8. Yeah, the heat treated Ocala chert is very easy to knap, but it's also easy to snap. So I've got a lot of snapped preforms coming up in the box of brooks and bifaces. All right, here we go. 2J05. This one is a Marcos point made from translucent root beer chert. It's difficult to get these to look right because they need to be very thin and flat. But again, with this material, they can be thinned down nicely. And it shows the flake scars very well. This material, I like working it a lot if it is consistent. I think I did have trouble with some of the middle area, but maybe not. I think overall this particular piece was pretty easy to knap. The only thing hard about it was getting it thin without step fracturing it. Okay. $2J06. Now this is more of an art piece. I ended up with a preform that had concave edges because I think I was having trouble thinning. Usually when I have trouble thinning, I narrow it down quite a bit. Because the spalls that I had of this stuff were pretty wide. So the only reason I can think that this was more narrow than usual is because of the step fracturing. Anyway, I need to make some clovises out of this stuff because the thinning flakes are very nice and they run long on this material. I just didn't want to snap any of it because it's one of my favorite types of material to work. I didn't want to take a chance on the clovises and stuff. Anyway, this is an art piece, or I guess it could be similar to a bell type. Okay. Next item, 2J07. This one is Texas chert. And I'm not sure if this is lightly heat treated or raw. And I was going to put a stem on here, but I ran out of time. I made this last night. It is sharpened all the way around, so it's just a simple blade. Yeah, it probably is raw. It had some internal issues as far as crumbly spots, but other than that, it was good. Yeah, okay. $2J08, Texas heat treated chert. It has a different consistency up here near the tip than it does near the base, but overall this material was very nice to knap. Even this crusty material up here ended up flaking well. Although for a while there, I remember I thought I was going to mess it up. I did mess up a little bit with a little step fracture right there. Pretty common on my points to have little step fractures near the tip. Anyway, I guess it's a good hunting size. I would call this an Edgewood point, but it doesn't really conform really to Edgewood because Edgewood has a concave base. Anyway, let's see how much it weighs. 162 grains. So yeah, you can use it as a hunting point. One 3/8. Yeah, the hafting area is a little over 1/8. So it's plenty thin. You can get it on an arrow or an ladle dart pretty easily. Okay. I think I showed the translucency. Alright, so next, 2J09. This is also a Texas heat treat. I think it's a heat treat, yeah. Now this one is more in line with Edgewood points. Concave base, a little bit smaller than the other one. This one, $112 grains. One and 1/4 inch wide. And again, it's got a 1/8 inch thick stem area. So easily put on an arrow as a hunting point. These are also easy to mount as pendants. Anyway, I was going to make a bunch of these, but ran out of time, as usual. But this is one of my favorite point styles, so more of this style is coming. I've got a bunch of Texas chert now that I can use, so I'm going to do more of this style. Maybe put some serrations and make some art pieces out of this too. We'll see. All right, last item is a box. All right, this is 2J10, a box of Broxton bifaces. Texas chert, root beerish. It doesn't have many issues except for this cortex area. You should be able to thin it down. The material itself is nice, very nice. So as long as you're careful with it, you can thin it down. I usually try to include more of a finished look to these bifaces, but I think you can handle that one. All right. Raw Texas. This is raw Texas. This is raw Texas chert as well. A little bit tougher. But if you can thin it down, it can get a little translucent. You can also heat treat this stuff. This one is a very nice piece of raw chert. It's got really nice coloration to it. I was going to make a blade out of it, but ran out of time. There is a spot here that doesn't go all the way through, but that's an inclusion that'll be hard to knap through, so you got to try to get under it. But yeah, it does not go all the way through. Sometimes they go all the way through. This could pose a problem for the edge work, but I think you would lose a lot of this edge anyway, thinning it down. All right, let's hurry up here. Texas heat treat, very nice material. It's got a variation in colors. Some of the cortex is still on here. I skinned off the very outer layer. You can still see a little bit of it. It was a whitish or light gray cortex, and this was just underneath it. So I guess if you skin more off of this side, you can preserve more of the colors on that side. All right. This is just a random piece of Ocala chert that I was practicing on. I got an overshot looking thing here. A lot of cortex. Yeah, just something to mess around with. It's a heat treat. All right, a bunch of Brooks. Oh no, one more biface. This is a high quality Georgetown biface. didn't have time to nap it down into a point. All right, so I've got lots of brooks. This is a piece of raw Texas chert. A piece of raw Texas root beerish looking chert. That one hurt. I don't think it was weak there either. I think it was just me. This one, let's see. Yeah, a piece of Ocala heat treat. I snapped it right where it has an inclusion. So this was a weakness in the material. Let's see, another piece of Ocala chert. This is a nice color. I like it a lot, so that one hurt. And let's see, this last one, I think, yeah, this is a piece of Texas heat treat, but not translucent. It's the same kind of stuff as, very similar to this one here, that last point. And I was going to make something similar, but as luck would have it, I think I was trying to get rid of that stuff fracture. And I snapped it. I just can't tell where. Yeah, I think it was this flake here. Anyway, okay. So I'll fill up this box. It's not totally full. I'll put some more stuff in here and fill it up. Different flakes and maybe a biface or two. All right. Rules. These are my cheat notes. The full-length rules are in the description. Okay? If you have any questions, you can email me. My email is jackcrafty2@gmail.com. All right, the auction ends at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Tonight, Monday night. Starts around 12 noon, depending on my upload speed. All right, you bid in the comments section. Your comments are bids for this particular video. I will pre-populate the comments with the item numbers and a little timestamp where the item appears in the video. So you can click on the timestamp and go straight to an item instead of having to watch the whole video. Try not to bid at the last minute. I'm using YouTube's time tracker. As you all know, most of you guys are old hands at this. You know that the time tracker is not that accurate. But I have to use it because that's what everybody sees. And it's not fair if it looks like someone bid late and yet still won the auction for a particular item. So I've got to use YouTube's time tracker to keep track of the time on your bids. The cutoff is 9 p.m., 9:00. So during that minute of 9 p.m. Eastern, I look through all the comments and I'll put a like on all the comments. And then I'll go back and I'll start announcing the winners at 9:01. Okay? So I do see when you guys are bidding, but YouTube's time tracker, I've seen it mess up before. A lot of times not a lot of times. Sometimes it will say that you bid late and then you'll miss out. Okay? If you bid at the last minute. All right. Shipping is free in the U.S. International shipping is not free. I'll add $10 for first class package, $20 for a small flat rate box, or $40 for a medium flat rate box. These are not the international full costs. They're higher than this, right? But since I give people a break here in the U.S. on shipping, this is a bit of a break on the international shipping as well. Okay. I will provide tracking numbers. I will like your comments when I see your comments. So there's been times in the past where I don't see comments. So I use the like button to let you know that I see it. Now, if you bid and you don't see a like on it, just wait a little while. Sometimes it takes me a while to get to them. But let's say an hour goes by and I didn't like your comment. You can ask if I saw it. Did you see my comment? Blah, blah, blah. Or you can try bidding again. It doesn't matter. You can do more than one bid of the same amount, just in case. Anyway, sometimes YouTube is quirky like that. Not all comments are seen. Okay, but I will put a like on it if I see it. All right. I will announce the winners in the comment section starting at 9 p.m. Yeah. It's actually starting at 9:01. But anyway, I will look to see who won each item starting at 9. Okay? All right, that's it for this. Only 10 items. Hopefully more next week. Hope you guys had a good weekend and good luck.